issues. A comma in Yari Nyakura Yari Nyakura Enti mini yasha uye Mini yabon ubai Shewa pomoden so na yari anka wan shetemo Mini yasha uye Mini yabon ubai Shewa pomoden so na yari anka wan shetemo Yari Yari Nyakura Yari Nyakura Enti mini yasha uye Mini yabon ubai Shewa pomoden so na yari anka wan shetemo Mini yasha uye Mini yabon ubai Shewa pomoden so na yari anka wan shetemo Akosi ya Bimah Nasema wakanye de Health issues Yensha ya pomoden so ye Sikani Japan diane die Na meri Bimah o So anja unsu ya Wundu breast waba Obi benya wane fi Yari enti no monsha dia maye Yari mama katemo Abrentie Yari enti no monsha dia maye Yari mama ye basa Enti mini yasha uye Mini yabon ubai Shewa pomoden so na yari anka wan shetemo Mini yasha uye Mini yabon ubai Shewa pomoden so na yari anka wan shetemo Yari Nyakura Yari Nyakura Akosi Bimah na semini Fremi King City yo Patafinda na bigi Sunday.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is yet another day, a new day, a bright Sunday, a day that the Lord has made, that we should be glad and rejoice in it. You don't like this day, which other day would you prefer? Today is yet another episode of Health Issues, coming right to your doorsteps from Richmond Media. Please, we will encourage you to invite your friends, family, and tell them the good news about Richmond. What we have today, the good news that we are bringing to your doorstep that will help you to live longer than expected, to promote health, that if we follow these health issues, our lives will be better. Therefore, this moment, we would like to acknowledge all our viewers and listeners as you prepare yourselves to take your seat so that both of us, myself, you, and Brother George, will commence the program together, and we will wait until it comes to a successful end. Without you, it is impossible to have this program. So please be attentive so that whatever we are sharing here or discussing here, you will also be able to transfer it onto other person that will help them survive in this our world of unhealthy living. Today is a very important topic. We normally come across so many people that are suffering from this diseases, but we might not even be able to acknowledge that it is a condition that is affecting someone. Therefore, at the end of this program, you will know, or you will be able to recognize or identify this kind of condition when you see someone in that situation. Today's topic is management of attention deficits, hyperactive disorder, which we are used to calling it ADHD in a simple term or abbreviation. This afternoon, I'm not alone as usual with my brother, my lovely, gentle. How should I describe him? Don't worry, wait for him. When he starts to speak, you will know, and you'll be able to formulate your own words that you would like to describe him with. Brother George Ackon, you are once again welcome to Richmond Media this afternoon.
Thank you.
How are you today?
By His grace, yesterday was coolest, and today the sun is shining. So the brightest day in today is very amazing in Ghana. So I'm fine, like the weather. And you?
Oh, the weather is shining at the moment with us. We have a little bit of breeze in it, but we cannot complain. Because if we have this weather at this moment, we say hallelujah be to the Lord Almighty, because that's what we've been waiting for, and it is here, and we hope that it will stay. But it doesn't look very good. Within the week, definitely we have some rains and other stuff. But today, we are blessed to have this weather.
Thank God.
As we commence the program, could you please give us the overview of today's lesson?
Okay. We want to welcome our viewers, our listeners, and everyone watching us. We welcome you. Indeed, we appreciate you. If my slides can display. So you realize that without you, our viewer and our listener, we can't organize this program. Today's topic is very important. Therefore, we want everyone to keep sharing. Share as to the number of people that can reach out to. We have realized that issues concerning mental health is mostly disregarded in our system now, or in our world we live today. We don't pay much attention to such conditions. Therefore, for our viewer to be able to sit attentively and follow us, it means there needs to be a cordial relationship between the brain and its activity. But the moment the individual is lacking attention to watch us, to listen to us, whatever we will say, it can never be communicated into that individual. So Richmond Media Health Issues have realized that most families are having issues because of lack of attention. Most schools, teachers are complaining because some children are not, you will see them not paying more attention, but not that they are lazy or something. We have what we call attention deficit hyperactive disorder. And this issue is one of the issues that is of public health concern, and it's relating to mental health. So for us to get a mentally healthy, to be able to work attentively, then Richmond Media Health Issues have organized that. Let's at least update our viewers and our listeners so that we will know that we have a condition that we call attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and we will know how to overcome it. So wherever Auntie Cecilia Akaadom is, our warmly greetings to her as well. Thank you. That's the overview of today's lesson. You are on mute.
Thank you, brother. If Richmond Media is able to organize this program, then we say hallelujah, because it is very important topic. At this moment, our sister Doris Odo Rabbi says, waiting. We are here with you, sister. Thanks for your time and everything. Sister Cecilia Akaadom says, hello, family. She says, I'm here. So that means she's responding to your call to let you know that indeed she is available and she is with us. Thank you, sister, for joining us. though we were supposed to be together, but for one reason or the other, which we cannot explain it, our sister is joining us from afar. But together, we are discussing this program. Thank you. Brother George, if you have been able to organize this program to bring out this program like this, could you please give us the definition of ADHD?
Okay. ADHD, that's the nickname, and the full name is Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder.
You know what?
At the
You
end
know
of
the reason why we go by the abbreviation, because we don't want to be biting our tongues. You
exactly,
see? Thank you.
exactly. So what we mean here is that it's a neurodevelopmental disorder that affects both children and adults. When we talk about neurodevelopmental disorder in a simple language, means that it's a problem emanating from the brain and its activity. So don't forget about the neurodevelopmental disorder longest name and focus on activity or certain things that is affecting the coordination of how our brains work, and it can affect children and adults. This condition is mostly characterized by symptoms of inattention, hyperactivity, and impulsivity. So you realize that we can have groups of, when we get to the types, you understand this properly, so I'll not go deeper. When we go to the types, I'll explain it further. So people with ADHD, so now wherever you see ADHD, our viewers and our listeners should know that it's attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, may have difficulty paying attention, number one. And you see how it can destroy marriages. If you are speaking to your wife or your children and they are not paying attention, it's a serious thing altogether. Those people also have difficulty following instructions that you have given, even at workplace. If he find out to be your subordinate and you are telling the person that do it like ABC, by the time you come, he's not following your instruction. They mostly have difficulty staying organized, and this will come properly when we are explaining the symptoms as well. And they may also feel restless. So in a nutshell, definition for ADHD is that a problem that affects the proper coordination of the brain, and it can affect children or adults. But at this case, it can also affect, if it's work, productivity. If it's school, it affects the children's learning. That's why it's important that we need to study so that our work and our children's schooling, we can get a proper future and a good work output. Thank you. So that's the meaning or the definition that we want to bring out board. So if Auntie Bimah is around, okay.
Thank you, Brother George, for giving us the definition of ADHD. If we know the definition, are there any types of ADHD that we can know of, so that we'll be able to identify, even if it hasn't been diagnosed, we can have an idea. We are not the one to diagnose, because definitely there are some tests or investigations that will be needing to be done. So at least we will be able to, bring our heads together to say, oh, we think this one might be relating to this type of ADHD. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. These are some of the types of ADHD, and we all need to know, because the moment we mention attention deficit, hyperactivity, people are just walking around looking at those who are hyperactive, so that they will classify them like, hey, Auntie Bimah is hyperactive, so he falls under attention deficit, or myself, I'm hyperactive, So when you see a moody person or a cool type, you might not know that it can also form part of ADHD. So we want to take our time, go through the types. We have two main types of ADHD. So let's note. Number one, we have ADHD, and that group of people, the key predominant one is inattentive. They are inattentive. So it's characterized by symptoms like you are talking to the person, as you are seeing on the screen. The teacher is teaching the child, but the child is looking elsewhere. So the dominant here is that he is cool, not in aggressive manner, cool type, but is inattentive. And what will happen? It will affect attention, because the teacher wants the child to pay attention whilst he's not paying attention. And what is the predominant one here is inattentive. He's looking elsewhere. And they are also disorganized and difficulty in completing tasks. That's one group. We have a second group. That's the predominant one is hyperactive. So you have arranged your things, or you are waiting for all people to keep quiet. By the time you realize, you see someone has jumped back from the back front, then join a queue. We are sharing food. You realize that one person will move from the far end with speed, then he will just push someone to the side. So you see these two groups of people. One is cool type, but you might think he's lazy. You might think he's not paying attention to you. But this one, he is not cool type. He's hyperactive. The activity that he's doing, he's overdoing it. And that also affects work output, number one. Number two, this same person, like the one jumping, if the teacher is teaching, he will get up, one to getting up and destroying or distracting class. And this one too will, if it's a child, will affect whatever the teacher wants to teach. If it's you are at a family and your wife is hyperactive or your husband is hyperactive and he's portraying this, you see that it will not bring out a good communication out there. So that is the second group. Then we have the third group. That's the combination of both the first type, which is inattentive, then the second type, which is hyperactive. So if you are talking about the types of ADHD, these are the two types, and the third type is the combine of the two that we can talk about. Thank you.
Thank you, brother, for giving us the types of ADHD. Now that we know the types for every condition, definitely before we be able to even recognize that something is happening, one might be presented with the symptoms. So therefore, could you please give us the symptoms of ADHD?
Okay. So symptoms, they are whatever the person might be experiencing that you will be seeing. And that's what we will be talking about soon. So one, we need to know that attention deficit hyperactivity disorder can affect individuals of all age. So don't ever look like some people are only tagging their children, or some are tagging only men, some only women. No, it's a general group. Both ages, even aged or child. Sex group, male or female. Color, if dark or white. No matter your height, tall or short, you can have. Then symptoms can impact daily life, relationships, academic or professional performance. So if you are finding out a child with this condition in your class, or you are going to learn a trade and you are suffering from this, it will not give us a good performance or a good outcome. However, with proper diagnosis, treatment, and support, individuals with this condition can learn how to manage their symptoms and move on. So it's nothing that you can say that my child is having, my wife is having, so we can't do anything. There is something that you can do. So the signs and symptoms, when you talk about the one with inattentive symptoms, so the first group, inattentive symptoms, he end up forgetting important details because he did not pay attention when you were giving the instructions. So when it comes to recollecting or recalling, he will be losing the important details. So those people forget important details. That's why it can affect work performance or school academic performance. Number two, difficulty focusing if they are in a meeting, or if you are having a conversation with them. They have difficulty focusing because as you are talking, he is looking elsewhere. His attention is out of you to different person. Mostly disorganization because he did not follow instruction. You said put this thing at left side and this at B. He end up disorganizing everything. So the whole show disorganization, and that can affect everything. Most of them procrastinate. The thing that we need to do this few moments, we keep procrastinating, postponing, and that's, procrastination don't help with good work output. Yes, and that affects even how efficient your business should grow. And chronic restlessness, it's like always they are restless. Chronic here is not just an acute that you can say, just sudden restlessness, especially when they are about to sleep or when they are taking some important decision. You see how restless they become and constantly losing things. They constantly lose things. So they will put it here. As they are putting it there, you realize he didn't pay attention where exactly he was putting the things. You come the next day and he's searching for. So that is some symptoms that the first group might exhibit. Then those with hyperactivity, their symptoms, fidgeting. You see, when you think they should be serious for us to concentrate and contribute, then different thing altogether. And if you are not careful and you don't have patience, if it's your child, the way you whip that child, if it's your wife or your husband, you see how misunderstanding and the whole disorganization in the house will be. That's why we want our viewers and our listeners to know this, so that whenever a behavior is ongoing, you will not end up taking an abusive action, but you think that yes, there are some conditions that we were discussing at Richmond Media and that affect attention. So you end up looking for the best option than the other thing. Then the next one is feeling restless during sleep or rest, because you are hyperactive. See how they will behave, and always it's like they are feeling restless. Not the type that in the hospital you say you need oxygen. No, not that restless aspect. Interruption others during conversation. So he's doing things in an overdoing things. So in a form of conversation, he will be disturbing others. So when this person is in your class and you are a teacher and you are now teaching people, as you are teaching this group, he will be making noise. He will be disturbing, distracting others. And if you are an employer and he forms part of your employees, and you are now going to teach them a trade or handiwork, and this person starts behaving in that hyperactive mood, you see how he will interrupt with even you. And if you don't learn well, you might be the teacher, but he will confuse you. So we need to know that. Then feeling impatient and also irritable. They are hyperactive, so you want to stop them. They want to still do, and they are always irritable. So we need to watch out for some of these things, and don't treat all people you encounter as the same, but know that there is a condition relating to the mental health, that is ADHD, so that we will know how best we can help them. Then the combined one, trouble finishing task. He didn't pay attention, he's hyperactive, and due to that, he will not be able to finish task given to that person, because he will be doing things more than, let me stop because procrastinating, let me stop and go and do this. Tomorrow I'll come and do. The next day, by the time he's a secretary, we want to take report, he has not done. Why? Because of the condition, and he didn't finish the task. And if this person finds himself to be a seamstress or someone who prepares shoes, and you have given your material to that individual, you see how longest you get your material. So we need to be mindful with that. Trouble with time management. We want to finish the thing in 10 minutes or in an hour. But because of this person distracting us or not paying attention and those things, he will end up using a lot of time doing that few things, then avoiding mentally tasking task. Always anything that will be like, let me think to do, let me think to plan. You realize that these people always avoid those things, but simple things, that's what they want to go, the quickest ways. Then they're experiencing increased frustration and emotional sensitivity, because always the bosses will come when they see you. If the boss also don't understand the mental health of an individual, you'll be the target that they will always be shouting, you are lazy for nothing. Using those kind of abusive words, emotionally they become sensitive, and that affects them. Then feeling anxious and always depressed. Yes, because if I'm part of ADHD, we will say I'm not doing a good thing. 10 minutes thing, I am using 2 days. So if I'm a seamstress and my workers are coming to me, that frustration, you realize that the abusive words, how people classify me, most people also end up with depressed mood. And these are some of the symptoms that we need to. So please note that if you think you yourself or someone you know, your husband, your children, or whatsoever, your friends have this or might have this condition, the first step is to work with a health care provider. Then let's think about how best we can help you to be able to overcome the symptom for you to be able to focus in doing things. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother George, for your contribution towards this discussion. Now, what are some of the predisposing factors of ADHD?
Thank you. When it comes to issues concerning mental health, you might not say most of them, like this particular thing alone causes the problem. So when we are talking about predisposing factors, for our viewers and our listeners to understand, we are trying to mean what are some of the things that can come together to affect the proper coordination of how the brain should properly work for we to have focus and not lose attention. And that's what we are going to go through right now. Number one is that when there is illness or injuries that affect the brain, you realize that the brain at a stance is being protected by layers. So we have what we call the meninges. It's a protective layer of the brain. We have the encephalus. They protect the brain, so the covering of the brain. Now, when there is an illness or there is an infection that affects the brain, especially the meninges, then we have what we call meningitis, which means inflammation of the meninges. That's the covering of the brain because of the infection or the illness you are suffering from. Or the encephalus, it will become encephalitis. It can result in learning and attention problem. So when you have this problem, it will affect your learning and how to even pay attention. And like illnesses like the brain damage or brain trauma or conditions that will affect the brain in terms of its development can also contribute to ADHD. Therefore, we want to, I know when we get to the how to manage and reduce the symptoms, we'll go deeper on how we can be able to care for the brain so that we will not end up having brain damage from trauma or other aspect or infection from those aspects. So that's number one that we will talk about. Number two, toxins. You see, for a condition to occur, the most thing that we will say is like, we will call it layman germs or filth or toxins. So when an individual is exposed to certain environmental toxins during childhood, it can increase the risk that a child will develop this ADHD. So your risk to exposure to toxins can affect you, and it can, when you are exposed to, example, like lead or other harmful chemicals, it will affect your brain development. And that's, we are saying this condition is as a result of improper coordination of the brain. And if this is affecting the brain, then it's affecting the function of the brain, and you become at risk of becoming ADHD. And it can be either the hyperactive type or the inattention type. So we need to be mindful. Mothers, start from that place. How you care for your children through delivery till the person grown. And when you are grown up too, we need to be careful about how we expose ourselves to some harmful chemicals. At times it can be taken in through smoking, and that medium to harmful chemical can come into the system. So it's also another format. Another aspect is exposure to substances in utero. Here the concern is talking about the pregnant woman. So a gestational parent, gestational means a pregnant parent or someone who is pregnant, the health is very, very important. What the habits you portray during pregnancy, what you eat, what you drink, what you smoke or inhale is very important. So a pregnant woman who smokes anything, cigarette, he smoke anything that he find it to be smoke, affects the inborn or unborn child, and that alone can affect development. And we are talking about brain development, and you end up giving birth to a child with this problem. We get the best nutrients, the child is getting the best nutrients from you, the pregnant woman, what you eat. So what you are eating, if it doesn't contain proper nutrition, then it means the blood that is being supplied to this child will affect. If it's lacking a mineral that will help with brain development, then that will be also affected. So we need to be mindful about poor nutrition and also infection during pregnancy. So if you are a pregnant woman, make sure you take care of these things: what you eat, what you drink. If you have been informed about infection, let's make sure we deal with it as soon as possible before we predispose our unborn child or our children to this condition that we are talking about. Premature birth. You know, children born prematurely are at higher risk of developing ADHD, because premature means it wasn't up to term. So it means there will be not enough formation of vital organs. So it will end up predisposing the child to this condition if we are talking about the attention deficit. So preterm babies are at risk that we need to be mindful. So when we talk about the things that we need to look at, what contributes: our lifestyle, our diet, the child can have from you, the mother or the parent, and our environment can predispose some of us or individuals being at higher risk of getting ADHD. So these are some of the few things we want our viewers and our listeners to know. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother George. Even if our environment can predispose us to ADHD, then what can we do? If that's the case, is there any way that the symptoms that we can portray ourselves that will reduce the symptoms of ADHD, please?
Yes. We want our viewers to note that when it comes to the condition that we are dealing with, if you are not careful, you will end up not paying close attention to that individual exhibiting that symptom. If you just employ that person to your workplace, if you are not careful, you end up sacking that individual, because you will tag him or her as lazy person, someone who is not serious, someone who is not concerned, and he don't pay attention to the work that he's doing. So for us to be able to be able to take measures to reduce this, you need to note that early detection is important. Then focusing on every behavior individual is showing, either in school, at workplace, as a mental problem, then let's link to the right source. So these are some of the measures that we can put in place to reduce. Number one that we will talk about is that we want to reduce the risk or alleviate the symptoms. So by reducing the risk, it means that if it's about issue concerning pregnancy, then prenatal care is very, very important. It's unfortunate that some individuals will get pregnant and no health professional will see. So they don't know the developmental status of the child. They don't know anything. By the time you realize, he even don't know how to care for himself or herself throughout the 9 months, what to eat, what not to eat, what to drink, what not to drink. So prenatal care is one of the key things that we can help to reduce the risk of the unborn child, because during that time we will be able to do a lot of checkups. We'll be able to teach you what to eat, a well nutritious diet that contains or eating in variety, so that at the end all the minerals that we want, at least by the end of the week, most will be in your food. Then to avoid harmful substances, through the prenatal care, you will be able to note. Number two, we are talking about what you eat, helping with brain development. So breastfeeding, because if the child comes out after from the womb, you are supposed to breastfeed, and by breastfeeding, there is a link between breastfeeding or the breast milk and how it will be able to lower the development or the risk of individual developing ADHD. So we need to make sure breastfeeding mothers don't think that you want to protect your breast shape, so you not breastfeed the child. Forget about that and think about the proper health and mental development of the child, and put the breast to the baby to feed, but not to give other feeds whilst you are neglecting to put the original diet. So it's also one important thing that we need to know. Number three, a healthy diet. A healthy diet here means that at times, whenever you are talking about diets in regards to condition, people want to know which of them. So when he knows that diet A, B will help with this condition, he forgets all the other foods. Then he's just going in for only those diets. But we want to tell you that your diet should be rich, variety of vitamins, variety of minerals, variety of your proteins. Then you are true way to go. And we have learned about proper diet and how your food can contribute to your health. And we have known that if nothing at all colored food, it can be fruit, vegetable, will provide a lot of vitamins, in variety, and it will help with brain development. When you are talking about oily foods, then you look at the naturally oily food. You can talk about the nuts, so the groundnuts, the almond nuts, the coconut, then the seeds like the avocados and the rest. You realize that it has the oils in it, and you know the brain need a lot of these fats to help with its development. So currently in Ghana, avocado is in season, so you make sure that you try at least to get some and eat in addition to the food that you want to eat. What we want to talk about under the healthy diet is that eat in variety. If it's about the leaves in your locality, if you are in Nigeria, you are in US, you are in Ghana, even the country you are in, where you find yourself, the common leaves, eat them in variety. The common fruit, eat them in variety. The common seeds, eat them in variety. The common nuts, eat them in variety and in moderation, but not like always. You know of contomere, Monday contomere, morning, after evening, morning, afternoon till Friday. No, you end up getting only and nutrient from one source, but let's take them in variety for proper brain activity. Then the next one is exercise. regular exercise. So we want to encourage physical activity, example like the outdoor play type, so that it can help regulate symptoms. Because if you are exercising, a lot of hormone being released, you will be happy. Then the happy hormone is being released, proper brain functioning, blood circulation, proper patent blood vessels, because the brain too contains vessels, the arteries and the veins. And when they are patent, full blood supply and a lot of chemicals, that is the natural chemicals, will be released into the system, and it will help with brain functioning. Then limit screen time. Limit screen time. Excessive screen time has been linked to an increased risk of ADHD, because someone might sit on just one particular thing, television, watching series on phone, from YouTube, from this, from that, from that, from that. And by the time you realize, it consumes all your time. And you might not pay attention to the exact work you are supposed to finish at a particular day. And that will also steal your precious time, steal your attention, and you end up losing focus and not completing your task being given to you. Early detection and intervention, that's what we are saying. Early detection and intervention will help us to be able to identify the symptoms, seek for professional help. That's why we have the counselors or the mental health units across wherever country you find yourself. Visit them. This is what my child is experiencing. This is what my husband is experiencing. This is what my children is experiencing. And it will help them help you how to overcome. Very, very important. Reduce stress. So you need to create a support environment. Then, like we are teaching now, it's also a medium, because we are teaching you means to release your stress, means to conduct your activities, and it will help you a lot. Also, parent-child interaction therapy. Some houses, the parents don't have time for their children. So parent-child interaction therapy is very, very important, because that will strengthen the relationship. And if there is a negative, you will be able to identify. If there is a positive, you reinforce on that, and it will help you a lot. Then you get enough sleep, because if you're able to sleep well when you wake up, it helps improve work productivity. So remember, every individual is unique. Therefore, the therapies that someone will take me through will be different from how he will take Auntie Bimah through, or different from how he will take Auntie Cecilia Akaadom through. So we are unique on our own. Therefore, we need to treat individual uniquely when we suspect some of the symptoms that we have mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you so much, brother. Now that we know the symptoms that can reduce our ADHD, if we have if we don't have it, maybe we might even come across someone that is suffering from that we will be able to use this knowledge acquired from here to help that person survive in that condition. At this moment, what okay, there is Sister Akaadom says well done, and she says excessive, she's adding something, excessive screen time should be limited in children. And that is what Sister Akaadom is saying. So if we're a parent and you from morning 6 o'clock to 6 p.m., your child is on screen, TV, tablets, whatever, phones, throughout, then you need to be able to manage your child, because mine has got a time limit on his tablet, and it's 3 hours. As soon as you go fine, it's done. The child will be able to try to persuade you just to increase it, but you as a parent, as a mother, as a dad, as a guardian, should be able to know what to do to put your feet on the ground, so that you'll be able to stick to the rules that you have been able to structure it in the house. Brother George, what are some of the approach that we can use to manage ADHD? Thank you.
Thank you. So as Auntie Akaadom said, you realize that now, you see, last week when we were studying about the sugar and its effect, when the mother wants to wash or want to do her own thing, or when the father wants to concentrate to do his own thing, then as part of calming the children, then they will give the tablet, or they will give they will open a show to that child to have all full time on that. Then that's what we are saying, that you need to plan your things well. Don't use that as your way out, because it might end up affecting the child's attention on serious things. So we need to plan our house in terms of these things. The approach that we will need to put in place. So as we have said, you realize that this approach wouldn't be only one approach because of other things coming into play. And we need a lot of people being involved, of which the leader should be the health professional, the professional. So if it's a mother, you just introduce your child to the professional. Then the professional will start and initiate the plan. It's your duty to supervise the therapies that the person wants to take you through in the house, because the professional who planned for you might not be with you in your house whole day, whole time. So it's a comprehensive approach, and it needs a multitask people, but the key person should be a professional. So you know that the management of this involves a combination of one, behavioral therapies, then a lifestyle changes, then medications will come in. So we know. So when someone is suffering from this condition, he's hyperactive. I know some family, the child was hyperactive, he was disturbing, then the mother will just go and buy a sleeping tablet, break it, and give to the child. So few minutes, the child is dozing off and is gone. Then he can perform all the activities. Then afterwards, when he recovers, then he knows that he's out. But mind you, we have all ways to reach a target, but let's use the best approach. We are saying the approaches is behavioral therapy, lifestyle changes, before the person will even think of medication. If you not work on the behavior, change the lifestyle, and you want to focus on one approach, it won't work for you. It won't work. So we need to know that. So behavioral therapy, you work with a therapist. So when you approach any therapist, he will assess you, take the history, so that he will know how to handle you. Remember, we've talked about individualized care, how to handle you, and how to change the negative thought patterns and behavior, and help you with the coping mechanism that needs to play a role. So behavioral therapy. Then we come to the medication aspect. So based on all the other formats, when behavioral therapy, lifestyle changes, and all the other therapies are failing, that's where they might think of a medication. So medication too, the reason why no medication name is there is that some individuals sensing these will go and just get them, but it needs to be prescribed, because we don't sell it out there. If you are taking from the other medium, we don't sell it anyhow. You need to be well interrogated, investigated before prescription can go out. So take note, our viewers and our listeners, those self-medication products wouldn't help you. So be mindful of it. And if someone is prescribing something to you, he will end up talking about or ruling out with a side effect and the negative aspect, and how to monitor you. So if you yourself goes and you see the color of a drug, then you are going to buy it, wouldn't help you. We need to be very, very careful about that. Lifestyle changes.
Sorry, hold on, Brother George. Sister Akaadom has a chip in something concerning the medication. She says a lot of parents always want medication for ADHD. Medication alone doesn't help. So
yes,
that is the additional contribution to
yes.
what you
So you see, from even the clinical psychologist point of view, when anyone called Auntie Akaadom, this how my child is suffering from, Any medication, they will add that to it. Any drug, if you can help any drug, but they will want like any way out to help our child, my husband, my wife. So that's the advice he's giving. Not only medication, you want your child to be brilliant, but he's not paying attention. Let's use the therapies that we are mentioning. Then you get the best outcome. So lifestyle changes, regular exercise, like the physical activity, helps reduce the symptoms. And also note that the exercise you are doing, you do it outdoor so that more air will get into the system. And you know, one of the brain best food aside the fat aspect is air. He needs air. That explains why when the blood that is being pumped to the brain lacks enough or adequate oxygen, it will tell your heart that bring more. Then you begin to feel palpitation. Then the lungs will be compensating. Then difficulty in breathing. Why? Because the brain wants more oxygen to strive. So that is the important thing. So exercise, you can talk about brisk walking. You can talk about deep breathing exercise. Look at your strength before you start any exercise. Look at your health condition before you start any exercise. And look at your condition, your age, and think about this. Are you a beginner or you are someone who always exercise? Then above all, you suggest to your provider, if you have, that I want to embark on this type of exercise. Looking at my health and ask you being my prescriber, will this help me? Then they can tell you, no, your own, you can't run, because aside the ADHD risk, you are suffering from asthma. So you can do deep breathing exercise. Then you go out with that. Okay, you are having diabetes as underlying cause. So if someone is going for barefoot brisk walking, you, because of your diabetes, if you get a prick, wound healing will be affected. So you cannot go barefoot. So you see, we need to be planning with whoever is taking care of us as our professionals. Then healthy diet. It's a lifestyle that we need to embark. Note, it's important to note which foods to eat. That's number one. Number two, it's important to know how to combine them, because we have learned that do not combine cooked meal with a drink. Last week we learned about sugar and its linkage to hyperactivity. Therefore, if the food you are eating does it contain refined sugar? So you look at those things. What is in my plate? Does it contain more caffeine? Because those foods are some things that can trigger the brain activity. The food in my plate, the food I'm about to put in my mouth, what is the vegetable on it? The drink I'm going to swallow, what is the ingredient? Is it contain color, animal milk, sugar, or it contains, oh, I just take my my pineapple, blend and strain and take in? Be thinking about those things, because what you eat can affect or improve or maintain your health, including your brain activity. Then sleep hygiene, because sound sleep has a link with proper brain function. If you do not sleep, just the sleep itself is not alone. The duration of the sleep counts. So individuals who mostly sleep after midnight, you not get fully recovery. Although you can choose to sleep at 1 a.m. and wake up at 10 a.m. Still, you lose something. But individuals who sleep 2 hours before midnight, you end up getting fully recovery, because that is the period rejuvenation is ongoing. But if you sleep after midnight, you have sleep 1 and wake up at 10, but still your body will suffer. So when it comes to sleep, the duration count, make sure you sleep not after midnight, but it should be always before midnight. Then the duration, the environment, it should be a serene. Some can sleep in a music room, some cannot. Some, you note yourself, then make sure on how you regulate your room. Light itself, affects the sleep, proper sleep of an individual. Because when there is light, the hormone that regulates sleep will go down. Then the other hormone will be up. But when the room is dark or dim, you realize that the hormone, the melatonin that will come and release to help you sleep, will be activated. That explains why some individual might not be able to have adequate and quality sleep. Check your sleeping room. If you're always sleeping with light, at times go and buy a dim light in your room, bulb in your room, and during that time use it and let's see how it goes. So proper sleep. Then stress. You need to make sure that you manage your stress, handle your stress, plan your things. You see, we the shift workers, like I just closed from work, then you'll be going for afternoon duty elsewhere. In the night, you go for night duty elsewhere. Then you sleep just few minutes. At dawn, you wake up, dress, prepare for the day, go. If it becomes your habit, that's what we are saying, it becomes your lifestyle. Not one day wonder, but when it becomes continuously, it affects you, and this stress can affect everything that comes on. And at times too, you want to embark on activity because of the anxiety or the anxious we mentioned, and you realize that the people there, you are not paying attention. You can take a deep breathing. So you see someone is panicking, then you say, oh, relax, breathe in, you breathe in, then you continue. That's also another technique that will help those with anxiety in regards to this condition as well. Then organizational skills. You are having your organization or your program. You need to have a plan, a calendar. You can't wait and tomorrow the person comes to work, he say, we are going to North. The next few moments, he said, after North, we are coming home. He planned. Then he said, oh, we are now going to South again. So let's plan our tracks and let's stay organized and on track at our workplaces. Then we need to have break task we need to break our task into smaller steps. Okay, this week we want to go on a major program. How do we do it? Because stress also is there. Then let's break it down. We wouldn't take too much things at a go, but let's take it like in some quantities. So if you are same stress, don't wait. Because you want money, everyone that will come, I can sow. Then it hits in your store. Then when you schedule this on 2 days, come for it. Today, come for it. Yeah, the next day come. Then they will come or they call. I'm coming tomorrow. You are stressed out. You want to overstaying to do a particular task that you can even schedule. Yes, we have learned about business and my health. You get the money because you are overstaying, but it will affect you because of the stress. Create a daily routine for yourself, because you can't love someone and hate yourself. Create a daily schedule, routine for yourself. Today, I will cook in the morning. In the afternoon, I'm going to this place. The next day, I'm going to this place. So don't wait, because most of us don't plan. A friend call you. Can you accompany me to this place? We are joining. The next time you realize that, I wanted to sign this check. You refuse. Now you are coming back. I didn't complete this assignment. You are now going. Students, plan your day. Note your time that works best for you to learn. Learn. The next time that is not in your routine, don't overuse your time. In that way, we will be able to go against stress. Then social support. Let's join support groups to connect with each others to understand this as we are doing. Richmond Media Health Issues, together with Akaadom, Bimah, and myself today, we are doing a support group. So we are learning about this thing. And it's one best thing. Then the next one is counseling. Work with therapists. Don't wait to be sick before you go to a therapist. Work with therapy. At times, you can just walk to any counseling unit, any mental health unit, any facility. I'm suffering from this, or I want to know more about ABC. Then they can direct, okay, this complaint, go to this unit. Probably it might be the mental health unit, or they will refer you to a clinical psychologist or any medium, because when you go, we have variety of approaches to your health, and visit the right people. You want to know about mental state, and let's say you go to someone who is cooking. You see, we have break the barrier. So you want to know how to sew some shirt, and you are the let's say example, you are the farmer's side. The farmer cannot sew, he can weed. So whenever you want to take a health outcome from someone, make sure you note make sure you yourself you note how to embark on it, and where to go to help us be able to get good outcome. Then self-care, ourselves, that's what we were saying. Engage in activities you will enjoy, not what someone will propose to you. You will enjoy, to boost your interest. If you don't know how to ride and they are going for riding things, go for the walking aspect, so that they will not tell you that you don't know how to ride. Meanwhile, you know how to walk. So let's look at our interest and our hobbies and develop the interest in those aspects. Then we need to practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with kindness that you want to treat others. Most of us love others and treat ourselves badly. So treat
Mr.
yourself
Ackon,
the same.
Mr. Ackon, hold on here, please. When you said we should treat ourselves with kindness and understanding, because some of us, we love others, because people don't understand the quotation that says, love your neighbor as yourself. People think you have to love someone, but you first have to love yourself, because if you don't love yourself, how can you love someone? So it is just, I think one day this quotation, I want someone to explain it to me, because I don't know if I am getting it wrong. We always want to please others and then leave ourselves behind. Please, you may continue.
Okay, love your neighbor. Then it continues to say, ask yourself. So if someone is angry with you, it means he is angry to himself. If someone is giving you one CD or bringing you food, it means he has eaten and he has prepared the food. So in any case, you can't give. At times it's hypocrisy and for people to see us, because it's a church gathering, you go and prepare food, meanwhile your children are suffering in the house. So the self-care is very important when it comes to mental health. Self-care is very important. Love yourself, then you treat others with the same thing that you love or you are showing to yourself. That kindness, that understanding, that love, show it to others, because you are first shown to yourself, but not just like a friend. It's very, very important. But remember that each individual's experience with ADHD is unique. Each individual, how myself, Sister Akaadom, and yourself, we will be good, plus our viewers will go through. Each one differs from the other, uniquely created, and predisposing factors. What might be triggering my own will be different from what we'll do for Auntie Akaadom, and what we'll be doing for or predisposing Auntie Bimah's own. So we need to know that uniquely individualized care. So it's essential to work with healthcare professional to develop a personalized management plan for you. So twins might be going through ADHD, but the younger one might be having the hyperactivity on, while let's say the elderly one will be having the inattentive mood. When they approach any of the professionals, they wouldn't say you are twins, so we are treating the two of you together, but we will individualize care, and by so doing we'll be able to properly manage ADHD. So let's note that ADHD is there. If your wife is moody, not paying attention to you, don't sack her from the house. If your children are doing that, don't say because of that you are not giving them fees. If you just employ someone and you see that you are not getting the best out of him or her, don't sack that individual. Don't let us be tagging people as too lazy like that. At times it might be attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. let's think. Either we can use another medium. If you are a teacher, don't sack them from your class. Involve their parents. Let's see the psychologist or the mental health unit and see how best we can help that individual. And by God's grace, we can help big people out there with good performance out there as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother George. Sister Akaadom continue to say that I always say, love yourself and let the love you have radiate to others. That is very good. Thank you so much for your contribution. She then says, I always say, love yourself and let the love flow through you to others. Exactly so. But sometimes we tend to love people and hate ourselves, which I think, no, I am first. I have to be known first. Then I can use the same approach or show you the same approach so you can do the same as I am doing, which I don't mind. But leaving myself behind and then attending only to you, and then I'll be left where? In the middle of the sea or under the shadow. That is not good. So let's learn from what we are saying, or each day, each time we learn from each other. Today has been a blessed day. Brother George, we say thank you so much for your love and your contribution to this discussion. Without you, this wouldn't have come on. Sister Akaadom, oh, God bless you so much for your contribution to a successful and Sister Doris Odro Rabbi says, thank you very much. Have learned a lot. Thank you, sister, for your support all the time. May God continue to bless you as you continue to support Richmond Media, and we hope one day you will be seen on our platform as well. Sister Akaadom says, thank you so much, Brother George. Until the same time next week again, may the good Lord continue to bless you as you continue to enrich Richmond Media with vitamins and all the nutrients that it needs to proclaim the word, the healthy words, to promote health and to help others to survive with the conditions that each and individual have got. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a blessed day. Today's topic has been very, very interesting. I'm sure that you have learned something from today's topic, which you'll be able to apply to your daily life, as well as extending. You share your love by extensive love, by extending the love that you have to others. So why don't you share what you have on Richmond Media for others to also enjoy part of it, for others to participate, for others to understand the discussion that we are having here. Until the same time again next week, it's 3 o'clock every Sunday. Today is really, really bright, and I hope next week will be the same, because we always hope to have a bright Sunday. And today, indeed, it is a bright Sunday. My name is Bimah, and until then, it is bye-bye for now. God bless everyone. Amen.
Mommy.
Obapa Bimah, aka HB, health issues, Ekoma Yenina. Yare nyakura yare nyakura enti mini ya hwe mini ya bon bai hwe pomode so na yare anka wan shedemo mini ya hwe mini ya bon bai hwe pomode so na yare anka wan shedemo wo 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 yare yare nyakura yari anyakura enti mini ya hwe mini ya bon bai hwe wapomude so na yari anka wan shedemo